All right, people. I've been processing all the information that my father has sent. And last night he sent Archangel Michael to me to tell me what he knew I would understand to be true. You're to go it alone, in the sense that the seeds were planted and they're nurtured within you. Now, Luke Perry crossed over, and a young man, 52 years old, 5 years my junior. Never met him, but fan of his work. I've seen him in quite a number of different things that I liked. And I ain't just talking about 90210. That was like a nighttime fluff piece. I mean, a late Riverdale. I enjoyed his work in that. I didn't watch Riverdale from start to finish, but I have seen enough episodes of it that I did like him. And I kind of like reflected on the fact that now he's playing a father to a teenage kid. And, he was not that long ago a teenager himself. And, but now he's gone on to glory, as we like to say. The sad thing about what we are in consciousness being expressed is that we really don't know everything that we've experienced over the course of time. The only person who really knows is my father. There are many people out there who call themselves study or students of the mystical arts, who basically are just trying to, garner information and at the same time sell it to you, which is pretty much like why it's called the devil's work, because you're trading the secrets of the divine. And you don't want to do that. Because the thing is, that's the one thing that makes him God. Not that he is beholden to you to do anything, but the fact that he penned a tale for you. He knew who you were. He knew how he felt about you. He knew if you were working to be a better person or not. He knew all this stuff. And what he didn't want to do was hold it against you. Free will, your ego, your personal choice is something that he gave you. But for you to sit there and say that what you do now is work you must do, and how serious it is, you have to understand something. He flipped the script on that. Because that's how you feel about you, justifying what you have done at the expense to other people who had no idea you were doing it. And at the same time, it had ramifications, global ramifications. And you, for all you, the lies you tell yourself that you are good people and you are helping people to understand the spirit is real, you have to understand something. People don't need proof the spirit is real because they are real until you came running up in their face telling them about how they're supposed to live their life, when you would have did them a better service if you just left them the fuck alone. That's why the teachings of Christ were very explicit. And he said to his disciples, if they ask you to leave, you leave, but you do not take anything that is theirs, meaning that you do not take on that which they now profess to be doing. All these things you can do, but don't do that. But you wouldn't know that talking to you about what the teachings were really all about. No. You use what you think Christ was to justify your own ineptitude to grasp a concept. You say life is not even real. That is a dream. The saddest thing for anybody who claims they know something to never admit is that they were wrong in their take. You can get so caught up in life, your life, that you will give counsel to somebody that you know is going to cost you. And then at the same time, when the masses turn against you, all you're going to do is play defense. That goes down to your presidents, your governors, your sheriffs, your politicians, local, like I said, state, your monarchies, your dictatorships. All you do is spend more time than not trying to defend your actions. And history will pin a tail as to the type of person you were, whether you like it or not. And it really won't matter when they tar and feather your ass. Because the people who tar and feather you are the people who were victimized by you. Because you called yourself having a gift and learned how to tap into something you shouldn't have and started writing books as if that is the gospel truth. When the things that you consort with know no more than you do, but you take them at their word, but you didn't take God at his. He told you not to do it and you did it anyway. He retired me. He told me straight up he was retiring me. And all I could do is just try and wrap my little pea brain around how I failed him. How I failed you. Because see, the thing is, you don't have to like me. You don't even have to love me. But I could still see value and purpose in you because you are loved by somebody. First and foremost, you were loved by him. And then you just threw it all away. I told my father, I said, I don't even know what you want me to teach them. He says, get them ready. Let them know that they're getting half-truths because the people don't want to look at the ugliness of what's on the other side, but you've seen it. Lisa Nunley, I call her little sis affectionately because she is little sis to me. She's younger than me. But she's a mature woman. She's a grown-ass woman. She's a formidable foe. I'm telling you, when we were growing up, I thought that girl was brilliant. And I ain't saying girl to say like, little girl, no. She is brilliant. And if you don't understand who she is, if you cannot see the lives that she touches, that's on you. Mother Caustic hit the jackpot. But she already knew that. She loved her daughter. She loved her daughter. She loved her husband. They had a foster child. He was cool too. I mean, I remember him. Do I know where he's at now? Not necessarily, no. I know that he was friends with my brother. I know my brother fucked up a lot of relationships. That was his. But I do know that when my brother got married, I wasn't at the wedding, but he was. And I'm glad my brother had somebody to stand up for him. I wasn't going to be his best man anyway. He didn't ask me. Is he still with his wife? I don't know. They used to ask me to look at cards. These cards, tarot cards. They said, "Can you see shit in that?" My family knew. Because I would dream and I would say, "Oh, I dreamt about so and so. They were reborn in spirit." I mean, I just said it innocently. I didn't think anything of it. And my brother was like, "Can you see in these cards?" Yeah, he lied in the sense that I did tell him something that I saw, and the shit came to pass. And he didn't want to admit to the fact that I saw it. I found out about it later on Facebook when my nephew penned a story about what happened with his brother, which is what I told my brother I saw. Now, why did I do any of that? Because my father was calling to me. I was trying very hard to just stay in my life. And he was sending me dreams telling me I was late to class. I'm like, I don't need to go to class. I decided I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to do any of that shit. I mean, like, as far as getting a CPA and all that kind of stuff, because that shit is bone dry in the sense that it's not the kind of thing that I wanted to get an accreditation in. So, what did he do? It started affecting my health, my eyesight, and more. I had to take time off from work. I was walking, exercising, taking weight off, augmenting my diet. Because my doctor had said, "Oh, you're going to be on some kind of medication." I said, "Bullshit." He said, "How do you know?" I said, "I know because he's already told me. That which is the architect of all things." And I would sit in that park, meditating, as you like to say it, contemplating my navel. I could see angels in the heavens, a multitude of them. And my father told me, "You go home and see your mama." So I did. I spent time with her. My family thought I abandoned my mother. No. I dreamt about my mother's death for 30 years because my father knew I was going to have a problem with her transition unless he got me ready. Just with anybody else. The only one that really wrecked me was my brother Gene. Excuse me. Gene was my big brother. He was 13 years my senior. 13. That's the number of my father. My earthly father was born on the 13th of the month. And in many a lore, 13 speaks to God. So my father was repetitive in nature. And Gene did guide me. In the sense that there would be things that I said, I can't do that. He said, "If you don't do it, give it to me and I'll do it." I told my father, he took the wrong one. He said, "No, I didn't." How often have I seen Gene? Not really, that often. I've seen him a couple of times, but it's not necessary. He's over there. I know where he is. Just like my mother. She's over there too. I dreamt about her last night, but the thing is, it wasn't really her. Because see, she's become symbolic to me. She's Mother Earth. Sometimes I see her as her. And we hold hands and we just talk like we used to. Not that we always held hands or anything like that. We would talk. And she would ask me questions like, "Where did you learn that from?" I said, "Mama, I learned it from you." God-fearing woman. But last night I dreamt Archangel Michael was there. I was having a hard time going to sleep because I was kind of afraid of what I was going to say. And he said, because he told me, I said, well, you can just put me to sleep. I mean, y'all have done it before. He said, no, you have to slip into this on your own. You have to be comfortable enough in this on your own. So, what did they do? They told me to focus on my breath. And I did. Before I knew it, I was dreaming and I was working on something in the living. It's all symbolism, so I can't really explain it to you how I translate. I just do. And my mother was there in a reclining chair. And she was crying. She was just tore up because she was eating a piece of chicken, baked, not fried, baked. And she was talking about what was symbolic of that which is, for lack of a better way to put it, evil was going to be doing in this world. And there I saw my brother alongside this man who I knew was Michael. And they were preparing beds, children's beds. It's symbolic of death, people. For spirit to prepare a place for you to rest is your own death. For you who don't want to live anymore. My father, when he was waking me up, needed to wake me up because he needed me to be conscious and state to give you what you wanted, which was your freedom. You don't understand it from what I'm telling you, but I'm telling you, that's what he needed. Because I could not be asleep and surrender a soul contract. I had to be fully awake. You're sitting there like, we don't know what to do with this. You can't do anything with it. I cannot die for you again. He told me that a long time ago, too. He said, you died already. You can't die for them again. You are going to suffer. You're going to suffer at your own hands and more. And it's going to be based upon work you have and have not done, and work you do, and work you say you must do. You will either be cognizant of the fact that you're doing something that's wrong and self-correct, or you won't. And then you will suffer accordingly. And when there is nothing left on the books for you in terms of value, you will be written off. And if you have anything, and I said this to somebody a long time ago, I said, are you happy with your life the way it is? Because I know the picture that was being painted. And she said, yeah, I just, my friends or whatever. I said, okay, you do realize that this is all you're going to amount to. She didn't understand what I was saying. But I'm telling you right now, Colette Baron Reed lied to you when she said you could have whatever you want. I know who Colette Baron Reed is. When I first laid eyes on her, my skin crawled. Lisa Williams lied to you. All they can do is tell you what they think they know, and they don't know anything because they really didn't want to understand the whole picture. They wanted to basically sell you on a gift, one that was not theirs to give. They betrayed you, but you cannot touch them, because if you do, rest assured, it will be the last thing that you do, and it will come back And some of you are desperate enough that you don't care because you already know they robbed you of an opportunity. And I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to cast that demon out of you. If you have any hope, I suggest that you actually put it into play. I don't know. I keep telling my father, I said, this doesn't make any sense, and my life doesn't make any sense, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do from here on out because I cannot go back to what I had. My friend contacted me and asked me how it was going, and I said, dude, it's the same shit. I got a letter in the mail, and the people said some shit that I missed an appointment. I said, you didn't send me anything, and you told me the shit was coming in the mail. And that tells you right there and then that my father is determined that I don't do anything that I might think I wish to do for myself when he's already been something else. That's all he keeps talking about. And when the rain fell on Friday, I mean, it was intense energy. And more rain is coming. And then you got hit with those tornadoes and more. He showed me that he was going to hit from Cancun to the Caribbean Islands, all the way up into the UK and Manchester. And all those places have been hit with terrible storms and afflictions, loss of life and property and more. But he's not going to stop there because he's already striking in Australia. But right now it's just the forests. And the forests are the lungs of this planet. You really don't have any idea what you asked him for. You told him you wanted to die. And now that you are, you sitting there thinking, well, we'll get past this. No. Moses did not cross into the promised land because he wasn't supposed to. He was disobedient. Yeah. Does that mean at some point in time he did make that junket, that trip? It's hard to say, people. Because the thing is, God pins the tail. He knows who's who and more. You're talking about Old Testament versus New Testament, and you're trying to make sense out of it all. The sad part is, for all that you think that you've made sense of, you really don't know because you're not him. And you're going to find out as you cry out to him just how much you're not him or fitting to be forgiven for a crime you have committed. One thing you had under the Christian church was an opportunity for forgiveness. But the church doesn't exist anymore. What you practice exists, but the church itself does not exist. And you're going to find out exactly what that amounts to in time, over time. And there's nothing I can do to undo what has been done. Have a good day.